Excavators turn mere mortals into superhumans. One of these buckets is equivalent to 120 shovels, all without the physical exertion of doing it by hand. As such, diggers like these are the chosen tool for trails with massive jumps and berms. Trails like A-Line. And now, I'm going to use one of these to build my own mini A-Line. With tree jumps, 20-foot tables, and massive berms. It's going to be awesome. So I'm standing here in a field in Tasmania, and I've been given an opportunity to build a machine-built flow trail from top to bottom. The only problem is, I don't know how to use an excavator. Fortunately, I've got just the guy to teach me.
Basically, seatbelt goes on first.
This is Simon, and he's the usual operator of this machine. After he taught me the basics, it was up to me to move the machine up the mountain. So slow. Alright, this is going to be like 40 minutes. To be honest, it's shocking how slow this thing is. It's taking forever to do this. I kind of knew that, but you know, when you're sitting here for 40 minutes or whatever, slowly making your way up the hill, you got other things to do for sure.
It's so slow. I'm almost stalling. Bye-bye, you're so slow.
So slow. That 40 minutes turned into 2 hours before we made it to the top. After filling up the machine with diesel, it was time to play around in the dirt. Simon showed me the basics, and I hopped in. So do I want to tilt the bucket when I'm digging?
It's up to you. Probably just start with just digging, I reckon. Don't worry too much about it because we'll just fill it back in and...
Oh, you can stall it.
Where are your revs at? What's going on with this thing? Keep going.
Oh.
What the That's really weird, man.
Yeah.
Can I have a go?
Yeah, sure.
That's running rough, man.
Yeah.
That should not be running like that. Nah.
We put diesel in, right?
It's got diesel in it. Well, it's out of the diesel can.
Did
Good point.
someone put petrol in there?
Maybe.
Because it only happened after we did that.
True. That Jerry smells like petrol.
Yeah, I just smelled this. It smells like petrol too.
That even does.
Yeah. Oh man, I want to know who puts petrol in a diesel tank. Once we drained the gas, replaced the filters, and refilled with actual diesel, all that was left to do was cross our fingers. Hey! Oh, I thought we were gonna have to struggle a lot more than that. And so, I could finally start learning the machine. I fumbled around with inputs as any beginner would do learning a new skill. And as I learned, I managed to carve out a bit of a berm. By the next day, I was getting a little better with the machine, and it wouldn't take much effort to get the general shape of the third berm going. Little tricks like using the backside of the bucket to smooth and compress were coming to me. In fact, this field is a perfect place to learn. The hillside has a gentle grade, And there aren't many trees, allowing me to place the machine nearly anywhere I want. There's just one problem that I didn't quite expect: the composition of the ground. The top layer is grass, then a thin layer of sand, followed by a crumbly layer of clay, which progressively becomes more and more solid. As you pull the clay out, it comes out in large, hard chunks that don't compress easily into the shapes you want. They just become smaller chunks, and once you punch past the top crumbly layer, it becomes very difficult to dig into.
When you walk around flagging a trail, you always try to look for features to incorporate into the trail. But in this field, there's not a lot of features here except for a couple trees. But there are a few trees around that I've targeted, like this one behind me, which has already fallen over. I figure I could incorporate this into a jump.
It's a bit unorthodox to build a jump through a fallen tree, but hey, back in Canada, we tried to use terrain features to our advantage. After all, unique features make the trail more memorable, more interesting. Plus, they make good thumbnails. Though I may have bit off more than I could chew. One wrong move here, and I could easily rip out a hydraulic line on a machine that wasn't mine. So whose machine is it anyways? As you may have seen in my wife Yuka's video, we visited a place in Tasmania called Meadowbank, a vineyard which has added mountain bike trails to its repertoire, including the double black jump line, Big G, and a blue flow line called Flat Top. As we finished the ride, I noticed the mini excavator parked to the side and mentioned I've been keen to get some experience in one. Long story short, they've given me free range to build what I want in exchange for getting the word out about Meadowbank. And if everything goes to plan, they'll get a trail out of the deal. So the plan for the trail is to build it between the difficulty of Big G and Flat Top, basically a black diamond. I want the trail to be accessible to a wide range of riders, so all the jumps will be tables, easy to roll through, and safe to case. Starting the trail from these isolated corners would integrate them into the trail system. In an excavator with an open cab, you're out in the elements. If it's sunny and calm, life is good. If it's windy and dry, which it often is, well, getting dust blown in your face isn't optimal. But after a few facefuls of dust, the tree jump did get completed. From there, I moved down the trail and on to the next jump the following day, when it rained. A lot. Sitting in an open excavator in blowing rain is miserable. Part of the problem is a lack of proper rain gear. When traveling to Australia, I did not expect to build a trail. But I wasn't the only one struggling with the weather. Yuka, 250 kilometers away, was setting off on a bikepacking trip.
This is how I'm gonna do it.
In spite of the misery, the weather was indeed needed. All the clay that was once hard chunks had now become malleable. I spent the morning slapping berms. While I did this, Simon was kind enough to finish off the table I'd started the day before. Later in the day, I quickly threw in a roller between the two jumps.
So today I got to figure out what I want to do after the jump I just built. I still haven't been able to test the trail properly because it's just too muddy. So I'm getting a little nervous that the trail is a bit too low angle and I'm going to run out of speed. So I'm going to stick a left-hand berm here and then a right-hand berm on the other side of the tree. But to do that, this log is in the way.
When trail building, drainage should be a top priority. If water doesn't drain properly, rain will create ruts and puddles leading to further damage. Fortunately, features in themselves help with drainage. With two opposing berms, connecting them with a roller will force the water collecting in the first berm to flow below the second while adding interest to the trail. After the berms would come the third jump. And though drainage is relatively easy on a trail like this, getting the flow right isn't quite the same. We've all ridden trails where jumps are easy to overshoot.
Oh my.
Or others where jumps seem impossible to clear.
No brake isn't enough. You have to pedal.
It's not like the builders aren't trying or don't care. The trail surface compacts, and thus the rolling speed changes over time. Creating a jump trail that works well without braking or pedaling is legitimately a difficult thing to do. But this is the target to strive for. And so, getting the downhill slope or the grade correct is one of the most important things you can do. On the first day, I spent the day flagging using an app that calculates the grade of the hill. With a rough route flagged at 7%, I could then use this as a corridor from which I could veer up or down depending on how it's riding. My instinct figured the next jump could be about 20 feet and a slight step up. Since it's going to be such a big jump, a bit of dirt management is necessary. This meant storing away the sandy top layer for later, and then using the now exposed clay for the base of the jump. When you're used to doing things by hand, it's mind-blowing how much dirt you can move in a short amount of time. Every jump on this trail is bigger than any I've ever built by hand, by a long shot. The thing with excavators though, is that if you don't respect them, they can bite.
What the
Which is why I was a little nervous proceeding with my next move.
All right, so my pile of dirt has gotten so big that I'm having trouble putting scoops on top of it. So I need to drive up it with the Mini X and start working from up there. Only thing is, driving up there is kind of scary. All right, here we go. I'm gonna drive up backwards so my blade's downhill. And we'll turn the cab, the turret, uphill. See how this goes. Now the controls are backwards. Put my boom out just to counterbalance. Okay, let's see how this goes. It may not look it on camera, but it really feels like a pretty extreme angle. And you feel like you're just gonna tip, but oh my God, this is scary. Oh God. All right, made it up. Just trying to be really careful. Like, I don't want to put a track over the edge because then once you start sliding, you're just gonna tip. Okay, I'll put my blade down. Now I think I can. It's still kind of scary. All right, now I can grab some dirt and move it to this kind of empty spot here. Definitely getting the hang of this thing. It's becoming more muscle memory. When I was first starting, I was just, I could only do the wrong thing really. But now I feel like I've gotten it pretty sorted out. Anyways, this is the biggest pile of dirt I've made so far in this adventure.
The funny thing is that as powerful as the machine was, I could already see how an even bigger one would be helpful. A larger machine with a longer reach and a bigger bucket could do this in half the time. The other trick that Simon taught me is roll packing. As I track up and down the landing, the weight of the machine will pack it down. The next day, I would use some of that sandy dirt I saved earlier to polish out the lip. And after a bit more tuning on the landing, the 20-footer would be complete. Looking down from the jump we just built, it's time for a big berm to the left. Using the digger is now getting easier. The controls are now muscle memory. Repetitive actions. It's now just a matter of moving dirt. 14 days in, the mind is weary. It begins to wander about the past, conflicts, missed opportunities, ex-girlfriends, personality flaws.
Look who's here!
7 days after she had started her journey,
It's me!
Yuka had arrived at Meadowbank.
How are you?
Yeah, I made it!
Give me a hug.
No, I haven't made it yet, but I made it to here.
Yeah, very good.
Yes.
You look like a pro. And you're wearing full face.
It's so ridiculous, isn't it?
Look at you. This is your cycling pants.
And hiking too.
It's not even proper. I think you've had these shorts since I've known you.
It's a swimming shorts, so you can sweat. And if you want to jump in the water, you can jump in the water. It's pretty good, yeah?
Pretty good, yeah.
What time are you gonna finish your work?
I don't know, 6?
Oh, you just working all day, no?
Yeah, every day I'm working till like 6 or 7.
Every day. You need a break, no?
Today I was feeling a bit depressed, but I just keep working.
Oh, now you're not depressed because you saw me, yeah?
Yeah. Yes, you cheered me up.
Yeah? Good.
But this would be a brief stop for her, as her goal was the south coast. So as quickly as she arrived, she was off again. With my mood lifted, it was time to get back to work on the berm. With a mostly clay berm completed, the final touch was to take sandy material from the backside and coat the riding surface. And with that berm, it's time to do something I've been keen to do for some time now.
Alright, it's time to test out the trail with my new berm. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff unknown right now. As a result of this, changes may need to be made. But yeah, that's the point of a test ride, to check things out. So, I hope it all works and I don't have to fix up too much stuff. Alright, let's try it out and see how we go. Woohoo! Oh, I clicked that one, yeah! This is so dry here. Woohoo! Corner works great. Yeah, corner works really good actually. When I first made the first dig, I stood up there and the corner just looked like a wall. And I was like, is that actually gonna work? But I kind of convinced myself that it would. And yeah, it did work actually. Good times. Pretty happy with that. But yeah, you can see it's so dry, like this lip. Just pushing into it like an inch.
15 days into a 31-day build, and about 40% of the way down the hill, it doesn't take a genius to see that I'm behind schedule. But I'll continue working non-stop to get it done. In the coming videos, I'll be building some hip jumps, a whale tail, and the biggest jump on the trail. So if you'd like to see more, do the thing that starts with S and rhymes with bribe. In the meantime, here's a playlist of some of my past builds. As always, thanks for watching and stay gnarly.